This is my office in Milano. As you see, is a very chaotic part of the city, as it is always in the Italian cities. A lot of cars, a lot of people klaxoning, screaming, speaking loud voice, bikes, motorbikes, and is where I work with people and where I meet my friends, my clients, and so on. But I have a special place, a special den where I can recover and where I can work for myself. And this is an important part of my behavior, and is what I teach to my students, to work for yourself. Because if you can save a part of your professional activity to work for yourself, you can be sure that you can serve better even your clients. In this isolated, very small, old industrial building, I can work alone. I can do my drawings. I can do my sculptures. I can think. I can create in a totally peaceful and independent way. This has been always like that for me. I always tried to have this two part of my personality, public and private, and has been like that since the beginning. Here you can see my first design happened in 1978, and was just a small metaphor. It's a metaphor of a flower that grows up, and is a lamp like a vase, like a flower coming up from a vase. I know that 78 is much before the 85, that is the limit, but has been too important for me this time, not only because it was the time in which I began to do my work, but also because it was the time of Memphis. Memphis, for me, is very much tied to my friendship with Ettore Sozzas. That was my master, my mentor. He didn't want me to say like that because he didn't like the idea to be somebody that teach. He didn't want it all. I don't know why. He never wanted to be professor. He never. But he was a real mentor. Somebody that everything that he was saying, everything that he was doing, he was teaching something. He was opening some unexpected point of view, and this is what design is: to see the world since a new, unusual, unconventional point of view. And Memphis was like that. Memphis began in 1981, almost 30 years ago. And Memphis wanted just to break out with a conventional design and to show that it's still possible to play with shapes, colors, every kind of materials, every kind of combinations of materials. Something that now, for example, we are quite worried to mix together. We did almost 700 products in 6 years. 6 years, that was the time of Memphis, because the Memphis that has been done by the designers was just lasting from 1981 till 1987. And was you can believe it was a fantastic time, full of freedom, and there was the time in which I understood the importance of freedom in design, and how much important is either for designers, either for industries, to look for freedom, to look for an idea of doing always something new, something unexpected, also something ironical. We have never been worried to be ironic, but always looking for something new. I was very young in Memphis. I mean, it was almost my first design. And in Memphis time, I discovered how much I love to design lamps. Lamps is, if you want, my hobby. When I have to wait for the airplane, or I have to listen to boring telephone call, I start to make design, and I start to design lamps. I cannot tell you why, but lamps, in my way, in my mind, are the most exciting piece of design, because it is at the same time a piece of life, something that belongs to life, to everyday life, and something that belongs to technology, even if it is the most simple possible technology. But even like that, if a lamp doesn't work, you throw it away. Like every kind of product. But at the same time, in lamps you can see time passing by. Lamps are the best possible witnesses of time. You can read the story of design, the story of the past 60 years, just looking to the story of lamps, to the history of lamps. And I designed a multitude of lamps. Obviously, my favorite typology of lamps is the table lamp. And I did several table lamps, not very successful at the beginning, till I designed the Tolomeo. That was a very lucky combinations of ideas. And Tolomeo, in some ways, is the lamp that represent at best my philosophy in design. Tolomeo is a lamp that works in every conditions. It fits very well in any kind of environment, in offices, at home, in the bathroom, in the toilet, in the kitchen, in the office, in the chief offices, in the operative offices, everywhere. But not only like that. Tolomeo is a lamp where every detail can become a new product. I did Tolomeo has been designed in 1986 and has been produced in 1987. But since 87 till today, I think every year we design, we present some new variation of Tolomeo, and each piece has been able to become a new product, changing the head, changing taking out the mechanism, each piece of the mechanism used in a different way. I don't know how to tell you, but Tolomeo is a perfect product to create a family of products. And this is in lamps, in lighting industry is very interesting, but not only in lighting industry, where you can design something that is able to create a continuity in variation, and always at a higher possible level. Mostly I design for Artemide. Artemide is an Italian company, and some of my products are the most diffused one for the company. lamps are so interesting because there's so many possible lamps: ceiling lamps, floor lamps, wall lamps, indoor lamps, outdoor lamps, and small lamps, medium lamps, large lamps. I mean, you have such a multitude of possibilities that it is really a fantastic field where to apply. Unluckily, it's a very difficult field to use at school for students because it's very difficult to design lamps in a theoretical way. Even if today is an extremely exciting moment to design lamps. You know that next year incandescent lamps will be out of the market. There will be no more possible to produce incandescent lights. So I think 99% of the designers in the world today are just facing the problem to design new generation of lamps. Lights, lamps, fluorescent lamps, combination of different possible technologies is a fantastic moment. It's a fantastic moment because of technology, but also because the lamps itself is changing as idea. It's changing because the sensibility of light is changing, as well as the sensibility of colors is continuously changing. I've been very lucky because in the same year, Ettore involved me in Memphis. In the same year, he involved me also in Olivetti. Olivetti was a leading Italian company for office products. It is a company that doesn't exist any longer today, has been transformed in a telecommunication company, and today is merged in Italy Telecom. But Olivetti is still very well known and very important in the Italian scene, because Olivetti was a very open company, and the family Olivetti was believing very much in the society and in design. I was 24 years old, and Olivetti paid me for 6 months free to stay all around the world to try to understand and to have my perception about the idea of office, the idea of working, the idea of how the society was moving through working in offices. And I did several researches, and it was very exciting for me to work in the same time for Memphis and to work in the same time for Olivetti, to cut my mind in two parts. One dedicated to research, to avant-garde, to breaking the rules, and one to stay inside the industry, inside the production problems, inside the technology, inside the organization, and so on and so on. I was very lucky just because I was in some way introduced to both the possible phase of design. Design as a research, as an idea of looking for the future of humanity, and industry, hard industry that has to produce, has to sell, has to be successful. I designed more than 100 products for Olivetti since the end of last century, more or less. Someone has been produced also after I quit the company. And it was very, very interesting, very important for me, just because through Olivetti I got in touch with the idea that the life is something that is part of design. In some way, I believe that the most important design creation in our time has been the design of our day timetable. I remember when I was young, I was living in my family. My father was coming home for lunch, and I was working from 9 o'clock till noon, and from 3 o'clock till late afternoon. But the family was the center of the organization, and the house was the center of the family life. Now, since we work only one time, from 8 to 4 to 8 to 9, 8 to 6, 8 to 9, all the day long. Since we changed our attitude in life, we change also our environment, we change our organization, we change our buildings, we change our design. The house is different, continuously changing, because we are changing our way of living and our way to conceive the place where to stay. And more the house where we live is the theater of our own personality. And just following the development of technology and the development of the lifestyle, I was able to keep me updated with the idea of the world and with the idea of the environment. The house, the offices, the cities, the landscape. As Italian design, I will say almost all Italian designers, or at least all Italian designers of my generation, we trained as architects, and as architects we design in a more preferable way. We design furniture. I design a lot of furniture, not only Memphis furniture, but also furniture for normal companies. I design for Cartel, for Capellini, for some of the major Italian companies for furniture. And as I told you, furniture are very helpful to understand the evolution of lifestyle and the evolution of what men expect from life. Coming to the most recent design, I'm designing furniture that are in some way mixing the proportion of architecture and the proportion of furniture. There's always this combination, if you want, combination and ambiguity between in me, but also in many other Italian designers, to be partly architect, partly designer, partly artist, partly writers, photographers, and so on and so on. All my most recent design are almost like small towers. You can see this bookcase I did last year, and a new one that I'm doing right now. I'm going to present to next Salone del Mobile. Salone del Mobile is an important step every year for designers, because in this time we can present our new furniture, our new design, our new prototypes. Mostly in Salone del Mobile we present prototypes that sometimes will be productive, sometimes will be just a research, just an experiment and nothing else. But just because we are used to do so many prototypes, and we are used to see prototypes that will be not products, that will stay at a status of prototypes and nothing else. We are very, we and me especially, we trust in craftsmanship. And I love and I work and I support craftsmanship in Italy and everywhere. From the most humble craftsman till the most sophisticated and elegant and traditional design. I'm working now for the Manufacture Nationale de Sèvres, and I can tell you how beautiful it is to work with traditional craftsmen and in such an unbelievable atmosphere of tradition, of talent coming since 200, 300 years. And the craftsman, my relation with craftsmanship is very tied to my produzione privata. Produzione privata is something that I did after Memphis time, because in Memphis was so beautiful. You know, Ettore was saying, in Memphis is not the designer that has to serve industry, but is the industry that is serving design. And so this condition where design can be everything, can be just a pure research, can be just to try something impossible, something that has nothing to do with market, with organizations, with diffusion, where you can't try just the impossible. This was really a pity for myself to not to have anymore. And so after Memphis was died, I spent 2 or 3 years without nothing doing, till the moment in which I discovered this concept, produzione privata. I discovered that it is possible to create a company, a small company, very, very tiny company, but a real company with products, catalogs, production, storage, commercial organization, and so on and so on. But small, but working, and experimenting in very small size what a big company is continuously doing in big size. So in 1990, with my wife Sibylle, we created Produzione Privata, and just using the same craftsmen that we used for that I got friends in Memphis time. I started to design new products with the same spirit, and just with the idea of experimenting not only design, but also the diffusion of design, also the marketing of design, also all the design, I can say, the design activity, from production, from creation to production, to selling, and even after consumption. That means the relation with the sustainability and the use of products after they are no longer used. Memphis Produzione Privata has been divided since the beginning in many different workshops, as well as Bauhaus was. In Produzione Privata I have the metal laboratory, I have the ceramic laboratory, I have the glass laboratory, and so on and so on. And I design traditional pieces, avant-garde pieces, unexpected pieces, complicated pieces. There are lamps, vases, simple objects that I can produce and I can sell. That cannot be usually designed for profession in a normal professional way. You see, for example, all the glass pieces, they are produced in Murano, close to Venice, in the island close to Venice, in the traditional way, using wooden mold, and every mold lasts for 18, 20 pieces, and afterwards we have to throw away and to do again. And is a Zen activity, if you want. Is something that brings you in contact with the problem producing, with the problem of producing in a small quantity, with the problem of doing with the hand. I mean, craftsmanship is beautiful because you do by hand. And everything that you do with your hand is something that is working in any case. I mean, it's possible to make mistakes. It's possible to do something that you cannot do with big companies, because you can make mistakes in big companies. You make disasters. You ruin not. You do not make a mistake, but you are ruining an organization. You're ruining a company. With craftsmen, you can do it, and every mistake becomes an experience, becomes a competence point. So that's even, in some way, craftsmanship is the workshop, the experimental workshop for the big industry. And for this reason, I support craftsmanship, and I trust in craftsmanship. Obviously, it's not the craftsmanship of doing something piece by piece and forgetting technology and forgetting the world where we are living today, forgetting all the fantastic possibilities that we have today. No. Craftsmanship can be something very updated with fantastic technology, with fantastic tools. We have unbelievable tools today, laser cutters and so on and so on. Really, today it's possible to do something that was not possible 20 years ago, just mixing technology with craftsmanship. And for me, produzione privata is also the freedom to design objects that I can't design for companies. For example, vases. It's impossible to design vases for companies. Vases is something very out of the market. You can sell vases in galleries, but not in normal shops. I can design vases, and I can work mixing together metal and glass. I can design balls with mixing together other products, doing something like the ready-made that Marcel Duchamp did in the 20s. Produzione privata is very important for me because I do not only create the objects, the products, I do not only produce the products, but I do even the pictures of the objects, I do the catalogs, I do the packaging and so on. And this is also something very exciting for me, to participate to the whole process of design without any inhibition to be designer and architect and photographer and so on. And I have to say, I enjoy a lot. It's really fantastic for me to stay alone in my den in Angera and to shoot the picture of my products alone. Even this one has been shot alone. I have to rush in the position because of it. But it's really a celebration of designing an object, to see him going around the world, to put some message in the products, to allow that the product brings information and messages to everybody, and to follow him till the end. When I shoot the picture of my product, in some way I say, okay, this is the end of the design process. Now I can start to design something new. If it should be for myself, I will go on to design the same piece all the time long without never ending. So with photography, at least, when I do the picture, I know that this object is finished and I can start something different, something else. And the produzione privata, is following the, if you want, the rhythm of Salone del Mobile, and every year for Salone del Mobile we present new products, we present new ideas, we present new prototypes, and sometimes these prototypes they are well accepted, and I can produce in small quantities. I mean, it's not important for produzione privata the quantity. I will say produzione privata would be a disaster if it should be too successful, because produzione privata stay in my office. I have one person dedicated to the market, one person dedicated to the production organization, one person dedicated to the new projects, and nothing else. Nothing else. And like that, I can keep inside the office and I can follow day by day. Otherwise, I should have an industrial organization, a real organization, and there will be no longer produzione privata. So it's important to sell a little bit, but not too much. And it's a very, very strange balance that I try to keep year by year. This is the last product I did, will be presented this year, so you have the first view of this product is a very simple lamp, as you see, in silicate glass. But my life would not be as it is if I could not work also for big companies, for big organizations, for big banks and so on. I designed many branches for Deutsche Bank in the 80s and in the 90s. I designed a lot of Horizon Centrum of ticket halls for Deutsche Bundesbank. I designed all the Italian post offices all around Italy, and banks, a lot of banks. Banks are important, as you know, but they are important also in terms of design, because the idea to design the service is a very sophisticated field of design. To design for post offices, for insurance company, for banking, is quite different, because you do not design just the furniture, just the environment, but you design the personality of the bank, of the institution that gives a service. And to design the service, to design the personality of the service is something very close to the design of the human identity. And there's has been a very important part of my work to design the service of companies that they do not manufacture, they're not manufacturing products, but they are serving, and they are just getting in touch with the client in a very abstract way. I believe very much in this way of conceiving design as designing personalities, designing identities. This will be also in the future a very important part of design. And this is the most exciting work as a designer, when you can deal with personalities and you can deal with identities. Even when I design a small piece of design, I know that in some way I participated to the evolution of the world. Even a small lamp, even the small lamp that I'm going to present next Salone del Mobile, is very small. It's very, if you want, it's a very stupid piece of design, as there are so many lamps in the world. But there is something in each design piece that helps humans to cultivate themselves. This is the most important definition of design I can give you today. Design is something that helps man to cultivate their own personality, their own love for knowing, the pleasure of knowing, the pleasure of understanding, the pleasure of being part of the contemporaneity. Design is like that. Design is a very important part of our life that we dedicate it to ourselves. When we choose a piece of design, we do a very important possibility that the civilization today gives to humans. That is the freedom of choosing. The freedom of choosing is something that really belongs to ourselves, belongs to this civilization, and we do continuously. We are choosing everything every day, every moment. We choose how to dress ourselves. We choose what to eat. We choose what to buy. We choose what to think, and we are free to do it. And this is what cannot be better than like that. And this comes from industry. This comes from design that help industry to give humans freedom of choosing. The last part of my presentation is concerning my most recent work as architect. I'm designing the new interior of Triennale in Milano. Triennale is an institution, a Milanese institution to present art, design, architecture, fashion, and so on. And I'm designing, as every architect, a multitude of different building typologies, museums, theaters. This is an hotel in Batumi in the Black Sea. I'm designing the Ministry of Internal Affairs in Georgia, you see here. A very strange building in Georgia in the middle of nowhere, nothing. I'm designing electricity plants, museums. But my favorite architectural piece is what I do in my den in Angera, where I work with a chainsaw, and I can produce houses with a chainsaw. I'm really a very virtuous chainsaw sculpture, and I do these small houses, these small architectural models, instead that doing with small pieces as all architects I do with a chainsaw, and time by time these chainsaw houses become reality, become some real house. This is in Switzerland. Is a small vacation house in Switzerland. This one is going to become a small building in the north of Italy. These vacation houses, and this one is going to become a big building in Libya, close to the sea. Okay, this is me in the door of my den in Angera, and I'm greeting you and thank you very much for this opportunity to show you my work, to present some of my philosophy. I was very pleased to come here. Thank you.